Hey everyone, it's Kelly. I am here today to share an October daily album that I created in 2022. This is something I have never shared online, and given that it is October daily season and everybody's kind of prepping and planning and getting ready, I thought this would be a great time to share this album. Before I jump into it, I do want to mention that I will be posting a video just with music. If you're not interested in the commentary, this one is going to be kind of a walkthrough video. So if you're more interested in just seeing the pages completed and not interested in hearing me talk about them, I will have that posted for you also. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it. This is a 3x8 album that I purchased. I believe I purchased this from Studio Calico's website, but at the time it was available, I think Allie Edwards had it available on her site also. So I could have gotten it either place, but Studio Calico had released a Halloween kit this year and it was sized 3x8. So that's what had me interested in working in this size. So let's just go ahead and dive right in here. When you first open up the album, this is my cover page. I used some thickers. They are foam thickers with a glittery cardstock cover. I just put Boo 22 on a piece of acetate. That's from my stash. I believe this is a Bella Boulevard acetate, but don't quote me on that. But I believe that is where this acetate came from. And then I just used one of the pattern papers from the Studio Calico kit, and there is going to be a little bit of glare on these page protectors. I apologize for that, but can't kind of get away from that when you're sharing flip throughs of pages that are inside page protectors. So I just left this blank. I thought the page was cute enough on its own, and I just really love the design of that. The next page, this is a pattern paper. I believe it was just from my stash, and you may hear my dogs coming in and out of the room. I apologize if you can hear them kind of click-clacking on the floor with their nails. But this is a ghost. I believe this is from crepe paper, and I adhered it outside the page protector so you could kind of get that texture and that tactile feel of the ghost. Next page, I made a bucket list on items that I wanted to do for the month of October this year. And it is a pattern paper from that Studio Calico kit. And this page protector is one of those, I think it's so fun. It's got a little area up at the top that's separate from where the paper is. And I filled it with sequins and then also these tile thickers, they're chipboard. And I just adhered the word Boo back to back. So that way it's on both sides. And I thought that was such a fun little add-on in there. Again, just another filler page with some die cuts, the word Boo, all of those fun sequin mixes. Next page is about my coffee mug, and I am not really a big themed coffee mug type person, but I came across this coffee mug and it reminded me so much of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and my son was such a fan of that movie growing up. So anytime I hear somebody talk about that movie or I see it on TV, or it just reminds me of when he was younger, and so I had to pick it up. I just purchased some new Halloween mugs this year. So up until then, this was the only Halloween mug that I had. And then I did use, I believe this is a card from Paper Person, did a little bit of stamping and just added a little bit of embellishing. Next page, we got a kitten this year. This was 2022. It was a very unexpected thing. We really didn't want another cat, but we were at my parents' house and their little neighbor boy came over and had this teeny tiny kitten. He couldn't have been more than a couple pounds, and handed him to my son and said, "We don't want this." And so we ended up coming home with a new cat that day. So this is a picture of him the night that we brought him home. I am not sure where this card is from. I just added a die cut on top of it and then did a little bit of stamping on top of the photo. Just a filler photo here of some pumpkins. Again, just a large outside the page protector photo of our neighborhood. We live in a wooded area, so it really lights up in the fall with the trees. And I wanted to grab some photos before all the leaves had fallen off. And I love our neighborhood in the fall. The leaves are a lot of work, but it is so beautiful. Next page talks about the leaf pickup. So for any pages that I did outside the page protector, I needed to fill in a little bit of a gap here. This may just be pattern paper, but it is sized to the 3x8 size. So I have this gutter area where the holes would be punched. So I needed to fill that in, and it was a great area for me to use up some of my washi tape. So a lot of these pages that you'll see here have washi tape kind of filled in on the sides, and I love the pattern that it brings to it and the design that it brings to it. And if you're like me, you have a ton of washi, so it's great to use. Added a label on here with October Stories. That's an Allie Edwards stamp set. And then just added some information about raking the leaves and working in the yard. Like I said, we live in a wooded area, so there's a lot of trees and a lot of leaves. And here you can just see a couple pictures of us out in the yard. That is my son and one of our neighbors, and then my dog. Next page is about favorite treats, pumpkin donuts, candy corn, and nuts. Added a couple cards, a couple puffy stars, little puffy candy corn. I believe this card is probably from Paper Person, and this card I think is Feed Your Craft. So as you can see, I'm using up a lot of my stash. Also adding a lot of stamping where it fits in well. So always happy to use my stamps. Next page, just talking about fuzzy socks plus the fire for the win. Always a big fan of cozy. I believe this is a card from... Where is that from? I believe that is from Feature Craft. This card has been in my stash I don't know how long, and I was really happy to be able to use it. It had that purple that matched really well with the card over here. So a picture of me with my socks and the fire, and then a picture of that sweet little kitten sitting next to some fall decorations. And that's what this card talks about, is just the fall decorating that I did for that year. Couple filler cards. I always love the chance to play. That's one thing, working in pockets, because I am primarily a pocket scrapbooker. I don't have a lot of opportunity to play. I am really kind of feeling the itch to stretch that creative muscle. So that is one of the reasons that I will be doing an October daily this year. And I can't remember if I already mentioned it in the video, but I did not go off a prompt list for this year, the 2022, when I created this album. I just wanted to document fun things that we were doing in the month of October, anything that was fall or Halloween related. So this is just a couple cards, die cuts, and then I used my stamps and did some layering over here. I was inspired. I remember seeing, I think it was somebody on the Studio Calico creative team did something kind of fun like this with the stamps, and I thought it was so cute, and I wanted to do something similar. I can't remember exactly what their example was, but I remember loving the stamps kind of layered on top. And I do remember I ran out of adhesive the year that I worked on this project, and I had to use some just adhesive I found in my drawer, and it was not great adhesive. And as you can see, that just popped right off there. So let's get that fixed. Okay, picture of City Hall. It's where I work, kind of decorated for fall. Just added a couple chipboard pieces to that. This is fun at the pumpkin patch. So it's my niece, my nephew, and my son. Added some die cuts. And then I also wanted to add some journaling. So I added a tag with the journaling on the back with this fun trim. And I just cut a slit in the photo, and then it just tucks right back down in there. This was one of my favorite patterns from that Studio Calico kit, so I definitely wanted to use it. Added it with some washi tape there on the side. This is a picture from the pumpkin patch again. It's me, my mom, my niece, and my sisters. I am so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. It's such a true sentiment, and I believe that is a Paper Person card, but I could be mistaken, but I believe it is. Another just pictures from the pumpkin patch, my niece and my nephew. This is a Paper Person card. I'm almost positive, maybe Kelly Perky. This die cut, actually both of these die cuts I had in my stash forever. I believe this was Pretty Little Studio, and I just love the way that the blue contrasted with the purple, with the orange there. Again, pumpkin patch, lots of pictures from the pumpkin patch. I wasn't worried about trying to fill this album with 31 stories. I just wanted to document stories throughout the month, so I was not at all hesitant at filling it with larger photos all from the same day. Again, this is a 3x8 pattern from that Studio Calico kit with some washi tape used as the pattern there. This is a picture from pumpkin carving party that we had at my sister's house. I used a large stamp in the corner here. It's one of my favorite Halloween stamps that I have. It is an old, close to my heart stamp. I use it almost every year when I document Halloween, and it's just one of my favorites. Added a couple die cuts on the side there. This is again from that same party at my sister's house. She had a bonfire. This card, I had to use it. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to use it again, so it definitely had to go here with the bonfire. This is a Paper Person card or Kelly Perky card, one or the other, and it just went really well with the bonfire photo. Created a page over here. It is a 3x8 pattern, again with the washi tape, and just added some die cuts and some epoxy stickers there. Filler card, those are the pumpkins we carved that night, lit up on our front porch. Always have to include a pumpkin drink. So there's a pumpkin latte, I believe, or it might be a shaken espresso from Starbucks. And then it's a pumpkin spice world, and I'm just living in it. I'm pretty sure that's a paper person card also. And I added a puffy star that matches the color of the background of that pumpkin die cut. Next page, used a cat die cut to go with my cat photo. He was kind of the star of this album this year just because he was so tiny and so cute, and I was snapping photos of him every chance that I got. So you can see the leaves in the background. He was definitely up to no good, and he was my favorite monster. So though both of those things worked very well, again, using multiple washi strips. There's a small, thin black washi, and then this star washi to add a little bit of pattern to the photo. This year we went to a small town festival. It was called Scare on the Square. There was a live clue game. Local businesses were set up with clues, and we would go to business to try to figure out, if you've ever played Clue, then you know how all that works. But this was so much fun. So it was my brother-in-law, my sister, my mom, my other brother-in-law, me, my nephew, my husband, my son, my niece, and my sister. And we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. The weather was great. There was also a trunk or treat for the kids, so my nephew came dressed in costume. This just kind of goes over what I just told you about the Scare on the Square. They had body outlines at some of the businesses. My brother laid down in one, and my son laid down in the other. I'll move this down a little bit. So I just added a filler card there. And these stickers on the Avery Index tab are from Tim Holtz, I believe. And it says open if you dare. And I thought that was kind of fun because you flip it open to see the photo underneath. My nephew in his costume for the trunk or treat. Another filler card. We came back to my house to play games. And so this is just kind of everybody sitting at the dining room table. Another thing that I really wanted to do this season in 2022 was to watch as many scary movies as possible. And so I went through and I think I just got these from Google. They're just the covers of the movies, and added some embellishments, title, a little bit of journaling here. And these, I'll show you on the next page. So these little die cuts, I believe, are from an older crepe paper collection. So I sized the movie posters to be the same size as these little die cuts. I used some to back here on kind of the intro page to that, and then added all of my movie posters along with some puffy stickers. And I love that it's outside the page protector because you can really get that tactile feel of those puffy stickers. All right, on to the next page. So this was about my nephew coming over. We were watching The Floor is Zombies. It's like one of those where they have you run and then you jump, and then I don't know if any of you, if you're close to my age, like we're going on a bear hunt kind of thing. So I can't remember if that was something when I was a kid or if it was when my son was a kid, but I do remember it. It was a book, I believe, but it was kind of a similar vibe. So same thing as I did earlier in the album, I cut a slit in the photo, and then I added the journaling to the back of this tag along with some ribbon that has some little ghosts on it. And when you're working in 3x8, you do kind of have to get creative on where you're going to put your journaling, because there's not a ton of real estate, but it was actually fun. It was a little bit of a challenge to kind of figure out how I wanted to get the words along with pictures and have some cute stuff on there as well. Also added a spiderweb sticker up there in the corner. Next one is just some spooky selfies using a filter. This was another pattern from that Studio Calico kit with some washi tape. I used a label and then a stamp for #selfie. And then I just have a few different photos here along with a filler card. Our wedding anniversary is in October, so I knew I wanted to add that in here as well. Just filler card, a picture of me and my husband when we went out to celebrate. And then I did some stamping on this side. This is very much Ali Edwards inspired, where you don't care if the word doesn't fit on the line. You just kind of keep going. And I just used some colored ink that matched well with the orange that I have going on there. Now this was trick or treat night. Journaled a little bit about what we did, how we handed out candy. Picture of my son on our porch. You know, I love that the pumpkins are there and the leaves are kind of around. I took a picture of our candy bowl and I cropped it so where just a portion of the candy bowl is showing. I think I originally intended on doing some stamping or maybe some journaling around the outside of the bowl, but it didn't happen. I think it looks fine just as a photo by itself. Next few pages are still more from trick or treat night. You know, my son handing out candy. I took a selfie of us, filler card. I went over to my neighbor's house and handed out candy over there also. So this is kind of a look from her driveway. My sister sent me a picture of my son when he went trick-or-treating. This is actually an umbrella that my son had when he was younger. And he had been at our house one day and it was raining. And he took the umbrella home. And so she showed me that he had taken it trick-or-treating because it was raining that night. I only had the one photo of him, so I just added some filler cards. Great opportunity to use up some product from my stash. And then next page is about book club. We actually met at just kind of a mom and pop restaurant, but it was all clown themed. So there's some clown photos hanging in the background. So I just kind of talked about that. I'm not scared of clowns. I know some people are, but it was just kind of had that Halloween feel to it, given that there were clowns and, you know, it was October. So to finish the album out, I used the same kind of page protector that I did towards the beginning of the album, added a pattern and then some more sequins. These are more of those Tim Holtz stickers. I just adhered them back to back. So there's some on this side as well. But it's just a fun little filler element. And then I just left the back of this blank. So that is a look at my album. It was a ton of fun to put together. I'm really excited about working on an October daily this year. I think I am going to do one where it's 31 stories based. I will have a video up shortly. I want to go through and kind of do a prep and a intro page with you. And then I hope to share process videos of my October daily from this year. So I'm hoping that'll be content that will be coming up on my channel very, very soon. So let me know if you have any questions. This was a very much stash themed project. So a lot of the things are not going to be available any longer. But I wanted to share it. Hopefully you found some inspiration or maybe some ideas for your album that you will be creating this year. And I will be back very soon with a new video. Thanks for watching.